Become a sponsor for the Lost Art Project Veterans Voices. Looking for veteran-owned businesses to sponsor the podcast for 1 week? Each episode, social media video will be sponsored by your business only. What do you get? 5 sponsored episodes with your logo featured, 5 social media videos with your logo featured, and 1 daily post advertising your business on all social media platforms. Support a veteran podcast and advertise your veteran-owned business. Email AJ for details. Lost Art Project Veterans Voices at gmail.com. The Lost Art Project Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Preserving history, one veteran story at a time. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project, Veterans Voices. I'm your host, AJ Cox, and today we're having a part two of a veteran story. I'm excited for it. But if you're enjoying these podcasts, make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. You can go in that website, click on the merchandise tab. You can go in there and get you some cool merchandise. It's a new website for that, so make sure you go in and click on it and go see everything there. Big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. If you don't know anything about them, you need to go check them out. Even if you do, go check them out again. I'm telling you, they are an amazing, amazing organization. If we can help them in any way, we need to try to do that. But you can find them at tillvalhallaproject.com. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. Okay, here we are, part 2. I don't know if you're ready for this, but I'm ready for it, so this is going to be good.
Yeah, it's part 2 because I talk too much.
It's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all.
Well, to recap, just in case you get part 2 and not part 1.
Okay, yeah.
42-year Army veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Joined at 17, retired in 23. So a nice career. The biggest topic we were talking about at the time and that we ended the part 1 was my medics getting trained, getting certified as EMTs. And that was based on my experience, having been a medic and not having that either ongoing training to prepare me for frontline medicine, being the doc on the line, or once I leave the service, taking all that skill set and be able to create a career, be an EMT in civilian sector. And so how I ended up getting to this point was, all I could say is I was blessed my entire career. I gave it to God, and when I was in 5th, 6th grade and said, okay, I'm a servant, I'm going to do it in medicine, and he kept opening doors and pointing me and throwing people in my way to whisper to me, hey, you can go from enlisted to officer. There is a military med school. Hey, you can get, this military to help teach you stuff. And then people like my platoon sergeant, when I was an engineer, who slept in trees to teach me how to be an officer. You remember that one? And then guys like Dick Cologne, who told me all about the issues in the 101st when I got there, and to guide me on, okay, let's solve problems. Okay, it sounds like it's a problem. Well, it doesn't have to be a problem. And I started chasing down things and solving things. And then guys like Brian Chambers
Mm-hmm.
and Lem Ferguson, who helped me with the EMT program, and were great teammates in that building that program and
Right.
everything else. So we got a program. We're certified. My brigade has got my back. And if I ask for something or I'm trying to solve a problem in division,
Mm-hmm.
or deployment sequence of something, and I start asking questions and people get mad, my brigade commander is like, well, is he right? Then get out of his way.
I
So
love it.
having backing of leadership. Well, I'm going to jump ahead a few years.
Okay.
I think it's 2000. At the time, I was assigned to the hospital. I was
Okay.
no longer in division. I was at the hospital, but there's not enough docs to fill all the division slots if we were going to war.
Okay.
So when that happens, they pull doctors out of the hospital. And I made sure, hey, if it's my guys in the Rakasans, the 187th, that I want to be the first one you call.
Right.
I just spent all these years with these guys and I'm still on the same base. So if you need anything, call me. So they called me. I go with 1st Battalion to Kosovo.
Okay.
Right. The Rakasans. And while I was there, some general came down and talked to the medical people because he was a doctor and he was a general. And, he was out there. How are the troops doing? How are the medics doing? What do you need? What do you need?
Right.
And me being a stupid, I think I was a major by this point. Yeah, I was a major. I saw that there was a problem Army wide. That is, I fixed EMT training for my medics, but once I left the brigade, it kind of dwindled and fell apart. All right.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
I didn't have the same credibility, and everybody that I knew left. So it just kind of fell apart. But I still felt it was important. So I tell this general, hey, here's an issue. We have medics that are trained better than civilians, but when they leave the military, they can't do anything with it. So they all should be EMTs right from the get-go. And when they're on the line units, they're doc. They need to know medications. They need to know medicine, not just trauma, not just EMT. But one of the places you can learn a lot is in the hospital. But the hospital has to follow civilian certification rules. They're called JCO. Okay. So all hospitals nationwide has this inspection agency that comes around and looks at, is your hospital system doing a good job?
Right.
All right. The hospitals internally have checks and balances on are the doctors, nurses, things like that. And then this looks at the total hospital. Are there issues hospital wide and the processes in the hospital? But when a medic is on the line, they practice under the license of the first supervising doctor.
I see.
The PAs are under the license of the doctor. The medics under that PA are under the license of the doctor.
Okay.
First supervising doctor has all that weight. So if guys downrange are doing stupid stuff, it's your fault because you're supposed to be watching over them and authorizing what they can do. And me, I was like, hey, do it all. Yeah. I trained you. I want you doing this stuff. I want you learning it. So PAs train the guys, these are your medics. You train them. You know them. I'm going to back you up. So I'm putting my license on the line over my medics and my PAs.
That's awesome.
Right? And I'm cool with that. But when they go to the hospital where there's a lot more sick patients, things like that, operations, ICU, ER, they fall in the Department of Nursing. And so they can't do anything.
Oh, wow.
All right. That's it's just crazy. The way it's designed. And I'm like, well, you need to put them under the doctors, not under the nurses. because the nurses won't let them do anything, won't let them learn. Under the doctors, they could be shadowing docs. The doctors give them privileges in the clinics to do things, and then they'd learn more.
Yeah.
Or tell Jaco to beat feet. We're military. We'll do what the hell we want. All right. And we don't want to
Right.
follow the rules because we need our medics trained. They're the first line of defense.
Uh-huh.
And so that guy said, thank you very much for me babbling for 20 minutes or however long I told my story. And there is apparently a separate story I've heard that general's wife went to an ER, military ER, and a medic was doing vitals and she got upset. So there's two stories that a medic who's not certified, or my challenge to him, or maybe it's both, but he became the Surgeon General.
Okay.
And right after he became the Surgeon General, guess what? Every medic in the Army is now EMT certified, National Registry.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if I was part of that, but I'll claim it.
Yeah, you might as well.
Cheating story I heard.
Wow.
So when you asked me in the beginning, aren't they certified civilian? I said, well, maybe not in 81.
That's really cool that they're able to do that
somewhere
now.
in the early aughts, because I think it was around either 97 or 2000 I deployed to Kosovo. I can't remember.
Yeah. Wow.
So shortly after that, he became Surgeon General. That was his legacy to put that on that. Although I told him, not only should every medic be an EMT, but every NCO should become a paramedic, which hasn't happened. That actually he's no longer Surgeon General. He's long since retired.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe the new Surgeon General will hear this and he'll be like, "Oh, hey, leave my mark by doing this." So.
Yeah, because they're out of the war. Once again, the Army is thinking about that extra training for that frontline medic. The Navy realizes it because it's one thing to be in a battalion and you're a line company medic, and the PA in garrison is right there.
Right.
He's right there. There's no big deal. And the only time you're separated is in wartime. But the Navy, that ship is over there, and the battle group is over here, or the aircraft carrier's over here. So to move that guy for just a sick call question from here to here, the Navy has the independent duty corpsman who's trained to make those decisions, because, hey, they're just not going to divert a ship or bring a helicopter every day for sick call.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
But for us medics in garrison, it's no big deal. So the Army has developed this, what do they call it? There's a term for some additional medic training, like the independent duty corpsman.
Okay.
But it's not standardized Army wide. It's like you can send your medics to this class. And I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. But the Army's moved in that direction to at least have some kind of training class. Obviously, the ops guys, they've got the 18 Deltas, and those guys, there is a path for them to finish training and get a PA license.
Wow. Okay.
When they leave the military, there is a path for that, because the same thing happened with the 18 Deltas. They got all this training, trauma training, everything. They're doing this on the line in all these foreign countries, clearly independent. Then they get home and it's like, well, you're not even an EMT. Yet I know almost as much as a PA. So there were a lot of schools that would take the guys, from theater and put them through a couple of classes, get their PA certification. So it was a way to get them better done. So the Army Some civilian agencies have recognized it, and helped with the 18 deltas and stuff. And the Army's at least made our guys EMTs so they can work off of this, and has
Wow.
an additional class. But
That's
that
really cool.
wasn't, like I said, that wasn't there when I came up, which is why it was so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I had my opportunity to do something, and then I'm glad at the Army, whether it was me or whether it was this general's wife,
Yeah.
but something triggered him to go, and maybe it was 1,000 other things he heard or during his career that made
Yeah.
him go, when I get there, I'm gonna do this. But
That's pretty awesome, though.
So
I mean, just that it only makes sense what you did and how it worked out, right? That, like, that stepping stone makes sense. Whereas, before they didn't have it, you didn't have it, and you're getting out, you got nothing to be able to show for it.
So I consider that one of my legacies. One of the reasons God put me on this path was so that I could do that. Even though I wasn't the guy that finished the job, I was at least involved, and a lot of my commanders, when we were doing our training and stuff like that, started thinking medical right away. So the key is for a commander to think medical before the first battle, because they all think it medical after the first battle.
True. Yeah.
Once they see the blood and guts, it's like, oh shit, how does this work? Excuse the language. Oh crap, how does this work? And so the next big thing was the whole medevac concept. Because I talked about, we developed these packing lists, these chests, and tailgate medicine. And my concept was, I'm only as smart as my equipment. So if I don't have my equipment, if you saw the light flash, it's probably one of my parents coming by and saying hi to me. They kind of flick the lights in my house a lot.
Mine, it flickers all the time in here. I don't know what the deal is with it. So,
well, it's somebody in your past that's saying, hey, you're doing a good job.
Oh, I'll check
on you, because the spirits actually can do that.
Yeah.
That's so, I believe in heaven and God and Jesus. So when I see that, I know that my parents and stuff are coming by to check.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that.
So where was I? Oh, so my idea was, I'm only as smart as my equipment. So it doesn't matter that I have all this skill set. If I don't have the equipment, if I don't have my aid bag with me, what I am is a really smart first responder that can say, oh, well, keep pressure on that wound.
Right.
And you should go see a doctor for that cough. Man, you got hip pain. You should probably stop by Walmart and pick up some Motrin, some Ranger candy. So I need my tools. So I have to have what makes me able to treat that trauma patient is the tools. And if I don't have those tools readily available, it shouldn't take us 15 minutes when we stop for me to be able to treat that patient. It should be the moment we stop, I'm ready to treat. So I'm carrying a special aid bag that's designed for me, or the vehicle I'm in has the trauma supplies and the sick call supplies. Because if I get killed, you got to wait for another doc before you can use a lot of this stuff. So, I ride with my gear, and as soon as we stop and drop a tailgate, the first chest on the tailgate is the trauma chest, and then the sick call chest. There was we did a jump mission once, and I decided, hey, I'm going to go out on the jump mission rather than my PA. Normally the PA does all the jump missions and has all the funds, and then I ride in convoy and catch up. Well, I did the jump mission this one time, and this is in training. And as soon as we hit the ground, this NCO comes, screaming by, hey, we got to get perimeter up, whatever. I'm like, yes, you do. We're sitting in the center of your perimeter. We're medical. I have to be ready to treat. All right. Because we just jumped forward. I got to be ready to treat. So I got to set out. You're providing security for me. All right. And he's like, "Arr," he got pissed off, walked away. Less than 5 minutes later, he comes holding his head because he's got a big gash. And I'm like, that's why I got to be set up.
That is good.
So, you know, so that concept of, we always have to be ready, tailgate medicine, all that kind of stuff, but it's also battle planning.
Yeah.
And
that one was yours. That one
yeah,
was your fight.
that was definitely mine. So battle planning and the hi mommy. That's something that's not really taught. You just kind of figure it out. So when I had my first company commander, the guy that was the engineer that branch transferred, all right, we're kind of figuring everything out together.
Right.
All right. I'm focusing on the trauma chest, the sick call chest, the care inside my tent. Yeah, he's focused on, medevac ops and stuff like that. And we're learning stuff together, and I'm talking to him about it and stuff. And then I have another company commander who didn't really have a good grasp of it or had a different philosophy than mine. And he and I bumped head about medevacs. Like, the aid stations call us. I've got an issue. We send an ambulance. All right. So now you've got the turnaround time from the ambulance leaving us, going to them, coming back. Another option is you anticipate that who's going to need ambulances, or there's a good spot you can put an ambulance forward in a secure location, and then they're much closer to response when they get the call.
Right.
And you can call them directly, and then they'll let us know. And so they're whatever time, I'll make up a time for a round trip or each way 30 minutes. Now you've positioned to get to them is 10 minutes. And as soon as they say that, we send an ambulance to replace them, and then they come back. So now instead of an hour turnaround, you've cut it to 40 minutes. The third is you do a shuttle system where you actually give them the ambulance, and the ambulance parks in their aid station. So, and their medics get out and help you out. But when they got to take a patient, they're already there. So now it's down. They load and they tell us they're coming back, and we send somebody out to replace it. So now that hour is now, instead of 40 minutes, it's now 30 minutes. So there's different ways to do it, based on what the battle plans are. Who's most likely to take casualties? How many? Things like that. And we're air assault. We got aviation. So where's my medevac pilots? And, how can we get them in the game? So there's all these moving parts. And then you do an air assault, and you take 600 soldiers and drop them over here. And they start, hopefully the LZ is cleared. But if it's not, they're taking fire as soon as they hit. So somebody gets injured. If you throw that guy back on the helicopter, that helicopter has to leave the formation to take him to medical. And now he's out of the fight to pick up the next round of troops and drop them. So you don't have a plan for that. So those things kind of are things you got to work out.
Right.
Well, the guy that came after him, my third company commander, was a medevac pilot.
Oh, wow.
And so, he needed command time. So he got command at Charlie Med. And I walk into the TOC and I see, we're supposed to only have one radio and listen to battalion A&L net. And they're supposed to call in medevac requests on battalion A&L. So it's not on the battle channel. And I walk in and he's got 3 radios. He's listening to the battle. He's listening to battalion. He's listening to the medevac pilots. And next thing I know, the bird is sitting outside of our tent, pre-positioned.
Oh,
so
wow.
Again, it's not sitting back at the aviation FARP, but it's sitting with us. So now, and all those pilots are hanging in the TOC, talking with him, drinking coffee. And as soon as they get a mission, boom, they're up.
Right.
So that was a big deal. And then the other key was, I was at a picnic, and my brigade commander was leaving, and I was getting a new one in, Colonel Bill Martinez.
Okay.
All right. And I'm at this picnic and I meet this guy, and he introduces himself as Bill Martinez. And I thought, hey, my new brigade commander. And I introduced myself and he goes, oh, you're the brigade surgeon. What do you want to do in life? And he's talking to me all this medical stuff. I'm like, wow, this guy really knows medicine for an infantry guy.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out the Army happens to have two Bill Martinezes who are both colonels who know each other, are not related. One is a doctor who I happen to be talked to, and one is infantry, my incoming brigade commander. So that guy, the doctor, was taking over the 86th Combat Support Hospital.
Okay.
And he knows my brigade commander. All right. And then we're going to JRTC and he's going with us. And in there, JRTC has the three phases. You fight into the box.
Mm-hmm.
You set up a defense in the box, and then you fight an assault. And then the battle ends on day 10 and you go home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after the first battle into the box, we identify some communication issues because people are trying to call on radio on the designated the battalion A&L net, but they can't reach people. And the medevac pilots are up there, and they're designated to come in to the LZs after the waves if there's any medevac calls. People are calling on the battalion A&L, which then relays through the company, which then relays to aviation to tell. And then after all the miscommunications there, the pilots started going down to the company nets, listening to the battle, and then getting the request directly from the company commanders. And so the lesson after the first battle was we need a dedicated 911 net. Mm-hmm. So anybody on the battlefield that needs a medic or is medical monitors that channel. Because if you're an ambulance and you're sitting over here and you hear that call and you realize, well, I'm actually close. All right. You just on yourself. If you're an aircraft up there and you hear that, hey, I can just on myself. So the idea of a 911 net, and we started implementing that. And again, I had a lot of clout. So getting that into our ops plans, that concept, and then that support from the 86th Combat Support Hospital, with all the casualty evacs and stuff like that.
Right.
It was very crystallizing on how medevac should work. So I learned a lot there. And when I get to my first deployment, in 05, with the Texas Guard, the very first thing I was told was, and so now it's 05, so the Afghanistan started in 01 and Iraq started in 03. So now we're 05 and they've got a sheriff's net. So no matter where you are on the battlefield, every vehicle is supposed to have the medevac request on their windshield so they can just read it while they're on the radio and call in their medevac request, and then have a dedicated frequency for all medevac requests. So there was a sheriff's net, they called it. And that's how anybody, anywhere in theater, no matter where you were, if you had a medical request, you did that. And the first casualty we had was a roadside IED. The gunner got hit with some shrapnel, and I hear about it, and he gets evac to Baghdad, and I'm calling Baghdad. And obviously the nurses don't know who I am. But I say, can I talk to my soldier? And so they hand the phone to the soldier. Soldier tells me, yeah, this happened. And next thing I know, the combat lifesaver was on me and had badges. And the medic showed up. Then the bird landed. It was on. And I'm like, well, that's what I like to hear. As your brigade surgeon, I like
Yeah,
to hear that the system works. Because we had air
absolutely.
superiority in Iraq,
Uh-huh.
so it worked. So that 911 medevac dedicated line,
Mm-hmm.
system that we were working out in the 90s
Right.
actually was implemented in theater. And I don't know if it was trial or error or people recognized they need that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it worked.
Hmm.
So let me see. So brigade wise, so the last thing that before I can start telling stories is my career. So I'm at brigade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this 4 years, not two.
Right.
It's the 90s. So I graduated or I left. I came to brigade in 93. So I expected to be there till 97.
Mm-hmm.
When I left in 93, the Army has two training programs for emergency medicine.
Okay.
One in Texas, one in Washington, where I trained my internship.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a total of 15 slots. So you apply just like, you do for everything else. You put in your application, you do interviews, whatever.
Now, is that 15 at each place or
No,
15
total
total?
between the
Total.
two.
Okay.
All right. And when I graduated internship, they averaged 25 applicants a year for those 15 slots. All right. So,
Okay.
10 guys that have to go find another, try again or find
Mm-hmm.
another specialty. And 4 years later, it just so happened that the show ER was popular.
Right.
And instead of 25 applicants a year, there are 75 applicants a year.
Wow.
And the Army did some downsizing, and there's only 13 slots.
Oh my gosh.
So 75 people are competing for 13 slots. So I'm competing with all these people, and I find out I don't get selected, and I find out that I was ranked like 23rd. So I'm
Okay.
a top third, but I'm not top 13. So I
Right.
don't get picked up. And I've been in brigade for 4 years.
Okay.
I'm not going to stay in this job forever. Somebody else needs to take over. Well, there happened to be, and I don't know how much is played in, but it was very public, a young dependent daughter,
Mm-hmm.
12 years, 13 years old, and she had appendicitis.
Okay.
And they go in and they do an appendectomy, but they do it laparoscopically, which everybody does nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So they put the scopes in, whatever, they take out the appendix. Well, in the process, they nicked her artery.
Ooh.
And they didn't repair it in time or whatever, and she lost her leg.
Holy moly.
This made it to 60 minutes.
Ooh.
So the Surgeon General, not the one I told about the medics being the thing, the Surgeon General in the early 90s, mid 90s, went on 60 Minutes to talk about what happened and say, we are outstanding doctors. We have to meet all the same criteria, which is why I mentioned it earlier. So we'll have to meet the same criteria. This is just a bad outcome. But one of the problems with military medicine, and you may have experienced this, especially for family members, is the system is 1/3 the size it needs to be if you met all of the mission needs.
Wow.
But Congress says how many officers you can have. This is a congressional limit. So I'm going to make up numbers. 5,000 total Army officers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 500 Army medical officers.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go to 600, that means take away 100 infantry. We go to 700, take away 100 aviation. So the bigger you get, the more you take away the bullet launchers.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
they've got to, and this is a congressional thing. This is what they give us. This is what the budget is. That's why you're commissioned by Congress, because Congress decides how big the military can be and how many officers you can have. And so they have to decide, well, we're too small for our mission. So there's wait lists, you get referrals. It's hard to get referrals and stuff. So it was hard to send people downtown because the money and the system wasn't there. I'm hoping things have improved, but the idea is for the soldier is, you're dealing with 18 to 30-year-old healthy gentlemen and healthy ladies. Because if you're not healthy, they kick you out, right? If you weren't healthy to start with, they don't let you in. So you have a very healthy force. All right. So you just get this because of the wait list and things like that. And if you go to your civilian doctor, the purpose of your civilian doctor is to meet your needs. You have back pain, they're trying to meet your needs.
Right.
You go to a military doctor, the purpose of the military doctor is conserve the fighting strength. They're meeting the military needs, and it's just different. All right. So, I realized early on, first of all, the soldiers belong to the commanders. I don't own any soldier. Anything I write in a profile is a recommendation to the commander. They don't have to follow it. Now, if they don't follow it, they could pay for it monetarily with their career. There are instances, hey, the mechanic tells you that Hummer has got a bad oil leak, don't drive it. You got to bring it in. It'll take me 3 weeks to get the parts and everything else to change the pan and change the oil pump and stuff. Don't use it. Well, if you're in war and you say, well, that's the only vehicle I got, and I got to get supplies up to those guys up on that hill, I don't give a damn about the vehicle. I give a damn about the guys on the hill. You throw equipment in it and you drive it and it burns out, but nobody cares.
Right.
You say in garrison, hey, I want to go to McDonald's, and that's the only vehicle, and you take it and you burn it out, you just bought it. The commander bought it.
Yeah.
All right. That's why the commanders are signed for all this equipment, and then they sub ham receipt down to the platoons, down to the soldiers, so that the soldier screws it up, and it wasn't a direct order. The soldier's responsible for that piece of equipment.
Wow.
And the commander owns the soldier as well. So that's why soldiers can get in trouble. Why didn't you wear sunscreen? Right? You got a sunburn. You damage military equipment.
Yeah.
Right? Stupid stuff like that. We give you a boonie cap in the desert. Why weren't you wearing your boonie cap? Because it looks stupid. I didn't ask you that. You're damaging military equipment with that sunburn on your head. Now you're not combat effective because you can't put a Kevlar on when you go outside the wire, and I got to keep you. So the commander has certain responsibility with this. So I understand my role. My role is to keep those soldiers healthy and fighting. So I realized, and this was just, I don't know how I figured this out, but let's say you come to me with back pain, and I realize, hey, your back pain is not surgical. It's not life-threatening or anything else. And if I do absolutely nothing, you are going to heal. That is the history of back pain. Mechanical back pain just gets better when you're young and healthy.
Right.
Different story when you're a little more mature.
I like that, mature. Yeah. We'll go with that.
But when you're young and healthy, when you're a 22-year-old, you pull a muscle, you blow out a disc, your body's going to heal itself and you'll be fine. Later on, it'll show up as arthritis and your body will bug you later, but today you'll be fine. And so you're going to heal. My job is to keep you in the fight as best I can.
Right.
All right. So I'm writing, I've done my exam, I'm writing a profile, and I say, well, rucksacks are gonna hurt and it's unnecessary. It's gonna prolong your recovery. Sit-ups and crunches, that's gonna aggravate your condition, prolong your recovery. Push-ups are not. Push-ups hurt, but it's not going to prolong your recovery. Running's going to hurt, but it's not going to prolong your recovery. And you need to stay in shape. So no rucksacks, no sit-ups, crunches, but you run unit distance, but at your own pace. So if they run 3 miles, you run 3 miles. You can take 4 hours to do 3 miles because that's your pace, but you have to keep going. And it turns out by doing this, the doctors that prescribe like this may not be popular, but the soldiers and people in civilian practice heal faster. It's been proven over and over again. The less you limit yourself with, and just using back pain, that's a common thing. You know, everybody gets it, rucking and everything else. That you actually heal faster, better if you stay more active. If you work with the pain, despite it just works out that way.
Right.
You know, and so I would try to keep the soldiers in the fight. So I was known to be kind of mean about it because not mean in that I'm rude to you, but mean in that I thought I would get a no PT for a week profile, and I got a go to PT, but you got to limit this thing. So the commanders loved me. The first sergeants loved me, but you know, some soldiers weren't so happy.
Yeah.
It just works. Funny. So I get to the end of the 4 years and I apply for emergency medicine. And again, I get passed over. Okay. So I need a new job. I'm not going to stay in brigade anymore. And I don't want to move my family. And I start looking at special forces and stuff. But a position opened up at the hospital in their TMC. So there would have been a delay going with the ops guys. And I just decided to go to the hospital and work for the hospital. And the hospital commander happened to be the commander that I met earlier, the 86th commander, Colonel Martinez. Right. And he became the hospital commander. So, you know, it was an easy transition. And they had the non-divisional slice units going to this TMC. And I worked with the 86th hospital that was part of that, so that their medics, we would get a building and set up an aid station with their medics and their supplies. And I would run that aid station, and everybody from slice units would come there, get screened. The clinic doesn't open till 7:30. And the medics would screen them. I would walk through and go, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. I'm seeing you right now because you're the sickest people in this line. I don't want you waiting. So I would get those people taken care of, get them on their quarters, get them whatever that they needed right away, so they weren't waiting around. So as soon as the clinic opened, they went straight to pharmacy, picked up their meds, turned in their 689 6 slip, and went to bed. Okay. You know, I took care of the sickest right away. You could tell from across the room who's sick and who's not. And then the rest of the medics would screen and call up and make appointments for everybody. So we had an appointment system with the clinic, and that minimized soldier lost time, improved efficiency. You know, so if your appointment wasn't until 11 and you got done screening at 8:30, you could show up for formation at 9, work until 10:30, then go to your appointment like you would in normal life. Whether the commanders made them do it or not, it's commander's problem, not mine. We just created a system that worked.
Yeah.
So, and when I was done with sick call at 7:30, or 8 o'clock, and they were finishing up, then I would, do my PT, shower, and then head over to the clinic and then pick up my patients starting at 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I've already seen a bunch of patients that made up the 7 to 9 time frame, and then or 7 to 9 time frame, and everybody else was working. So we all saw the same number of patients.
I see.
So every year I kept trying to get into emergency medicine, and every year I ended up in the same spot, top third, but not top 13. And the other thing that happened was that Surgeon General that went on TV, he had this philosophy that, okay, the complaint is our soldiers are seeing non-residency trained doctors because they're seeing general practitioners, because I did my medical school, did my internship, general practitioner, take care of soldiers, come in, get my residency, continue on. So he decided that soldiers should only see residency trained doctors. So the guy that replaced me was an internal medicine doctor.
Okay.
So now you could say, hey, the soldier came in, he saw a residency trained medicine doctor who's eventually a board certified medicine doctor. Okay, that sounds good, except that medicine doctor wants to see diabetes. He wants to see hypertension. He wants to see liver problems. And what is he seeing? He's seeing 18 to 30-year-old head colds and ankle sprains. So he's losing his skill set hanging out doing this with all his healthy. So on his own time, he has to go to the hospital and do like treadmill tests and do some ICU rotation or whatever to keep his medicine skill set. And the other guy that finished up the other brigade to go over there was a pediatrician. He wants to see little kids with the diseases and stuff, not healthy young adults. So again, you can make this statement that you're seeing, residency trained and board certified doctors, but these doctors are not in their skill set. So you're going to have a retention problem when that guy pays back his 4 years.
Oh yeah.
2 of them were in division. He's going to be like, I'm not staying for 20. Why am I going to do that? I'm going to go make money on the outside and actually practice what I want to do.
Yeah.
So we have a retention problem. So there are issues with doing this, but that's what they did. What that also meant is that guys that were graduating internship were going straight into residency. So the guys that were going from internship to ER medicine meant I was competing against those guys, and I definitely wasn't getting in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So now we get to, 2001. Yeah, it was 2000 because I was deployed to Kosovo in 2000 because I was in Kosovo. And I'm realizing, okay, I'm about done with my military obligation. So I went to med school. I owe them X number of years. I've completed the number of years. Now the Army's going to let me go.
Right.
So what do I do next? So the way the civilian programs work is you apply to a school, you apply to a training program, you apply to several, and then you rank. Like, I want to go here. If I had a choice, I want to go here. And if not here, then here, then here. Okay. And the programs have all these applicants and they go, well, this is my number one, my number two, my number three. And the computer matches up all this stuff and then decides, well, you matched over here, you matched over there, and matches all these people. But because there could be some mismatch, you end up with holes. So you end up with openings. You know? Sense. And so at the time of this, at that point, once they release the openings, anybody that didn't match scrambles, they call it a scramble, and you start contacting programs directly. Hey, will you hire me? Will you hire me?
Oh, wow.
So I'm in Kosovo, so I can't do interviews and all that kind of stuff. So I'm waiting for the scramble. And there was like 3 openings for emergency medicine that I found. One was in the Bronx and Albert Einstein, and my spouse at that time wasn't going to move to the Bronx. It was like 5 minutes from where I grew up. So
Yeah.
Carlos can tell you, right? It's right in the Bronx. And the other one was in Washington State, and they weren't answering their phone. And the other one was in California, I think. And it was like, oh no, the one in California didn't answer their phone. The one in Washington was just a voicemail. Fax us your resume. And
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm in Kosovo. That's not helpful. So, so I start looking what else is available. And I see that Dallas has this physical medicine and rehabilitation program. I've never heard of this specialty.
Okay.
Nobody seems to have ever heard of this specialty, PM&R. But I look up what it is, and it's like sports medicine type stuff. And I'm like, oh, I can do sports medicine.
Yeah.
So
you're pretty well versed in that at that point.
They had 7 openings. Nobody matched. For whatever reason, nobody matched at their program. They had 7 openings. Wow. So I call up, I talk to the residency director, and she's impressed with me. All right. She says, well, fax us your resume. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to call home and have them do that. So my ex, who were still married at the time, she sends the resume, and I call back the next day. It's like, you're accepted.
Oh, wow.
So I got the job. I got the training program there, and I've been in the Army now 20 years. So the time I started in 81 to 2001 when I'm getting out. Before those years don't count toward retirement because they're the med school years.
Right.
So I'm not going to throw away all these things. So I'm going to go back into the National Guard.
Okay.
So I find a National Guard unit that's near Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a medical company.
Okay.
That's what I came out of. I know this. And so I link up and I get transferred to the National Guard, to that unit, and I start the residency program and do well, graduate in 2004 from the residency program.
Okay.
And I get the job offer up here in Boise, Idaho at the VA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
So I moved to the VA. I'm going to be dealing with veterans. I'm one. So talking to the old guys is my thing. Just like way back when I was young. So talking to these old veterans is just amazing. The stories they tell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Why you're doing what you're doing is I used to, every day I would hear a story from these guys on work at the VA. So, but as I was leaving, Texas got alerted that they were mobilizing to Iraq. So I'm like, well, these are my Texas guys, and I'm going to go with them. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm moving to Idaho. And it turns out Idaho is also mobilizing to Iraq.
Oh, no kidding.
So now I'm going to pause. I got to go back to Desert Storm.
Okay.
All right. Desert Storm, I'm in med school.
Uh-huh.
One day they walk around class and they hand us all National Defense Service medals. And we're all like, why? Because you're in the service and everybody in the service gets one during a wartime. We're like, we're in class partying in Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah.
We're not at war. Why are you giving us this? Well, at that time in the late 80s, late 80s, early 90s, Desert Storm, the majority of medical is in the Army Reserves.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Not on active duty. It's one of the ways they get around those number fudges, whatever.
I see. Yeah.
So So those docs that are in the reserve units doing 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, all right? Now it's a war. You're going to war with your hospital unit. And your contract says that if we mobilize you, we own you. So those docs were mobilized for a year.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to throw up numbers. If I'm a doctor and my take-home pay is $150,000.
Uh-huh.
All right. That's what I report on my IRS. That money is after I paid for the building.
Right.
I paid my nurse. I paid my receptionist.
Right.
I paid my malpractice. I paid the business investment for all the equipment. So I'm probably making 300 and half of it is to costs.
Right.
And then 150 is what I make. Depending on specialty, that can be even more.
Right.
Well, the Army will make up a number, says, I mobilize you, I'm paying you 150. Okay. But I still have to pay for my practice. I still have to pay for that receptionist. I still have to pay for that nurse. I still have to pay for my investment. I still have to pay for the building.
Holy cow.
So all these doctors were going broke for serving their country.
Yeah.
So when Desert Storm was over, a lot of them quit the military and declared bankruptcy. So, the Army said, well, we can't have this. We need doctors, and we can't have you quit as soon as the word war comes around, or you hear about this, and we can't recruit you because you're running this risk.
Right.
So they said to the docs, well, what can we do? You want to serve, we need you in wartime. Can we find a happy medium? And they said, okay, 3 months. I can leave my practice for 3 months, take the financial hit, but at 3 months, I'm going home. That's nice. One of the consequences of that, I won't say down, consequences of that is if your unit is gone for a year, your unit has a slot for a battalion surgeon. All right. Instead of all your soldiers are gone for a year, but now you're getting a surgeon every 3 months.
Right.
So now you need 4 doctors to cover 1 slot.
Right. Yeah.
So what that means is you become a pool of docs and you're turning the cycle. You end up going back and back and back, and you have to cover units you've never served with before because they have an opening and their doc did their 3 months and they're going home, and now you need another doc.
So at this point, then it's a 1-for-1 swap, and it doesn't matter the unit. Much like in Vietnam, that's how they did things, was 1-for-1 swaps.
Yeah. So what I will say, and I should have said this at the beginning of the other one, this one. I will proudly say that I deployed 8 times. I spent 2+ years in combat zones.
Wow. Okay.
But I've never been to war. And what I mean by that is I never felt in danger. No one ever shot at me. So I've been in Iraq, I've been in Afghanistan, I've been in Kosovo, all over the battlefields. I wasn't a fobbit every time. So I tried to not be a fobbit, not outside the wire, did different things. But I was aware things could happen, but nothing actually happened to me.
Right.
All right. And so I'm not trying to steal any glory or anything else. Right. This is just my deployments. So the first deployment is in Texas, and I go with them, and my board exam, I completed residency. My board exam residency in 2004, June. My board exam is at the end of May 2005.
Okay.
So, and Texas is going to Fort Hood to certify and then going to Iraq at the end of 2004 and then crossing the berm at the end of January into Iraq. And they're going to be there for a year. So I tell Texas, you're my guys. I'm going with you. But I can only go until May. I have to get back for my board certification exam. It's given once a year. All right.
Wow.
And meanwhile, I'm starting a job at the hospital at the VA in July. So I graduate in June of 2004. I start the job in July, actually the end of June. And then in December, I'm mobilizing to Iraq until May.
Wow. Okay.
So I get to Fort Hood, certified through Fort Hood, and then cross the berm. Now here's my first, here's my first Iraq story.
Okay.
All right. I get to base. Like I told, I found out, my guy got hit by the shrapnel and I found out the system works. I'm happy. And we are a brigade aid station. I have a battalion in South Mbuka. I got a battalion in Scania. I have a battalion in Baghdad. And the brigade headquarters is in Talil. So my battalions are out. I got, PAs out and stuff. One PA was with me and he would, email and get the soap notes every day from his guys and stuff. So my, my base, I noticed, is us. Our mission is convoy escort, so our guys are constantly going out the wire. I got an engineer unit to our left that they're doing convoy route clearance and some base maintenance. Their town looked like a Western town. They built up some nice buildings with blank sidewalks and stuff.
Nice.
And then there's the flight line with some Air Force medics, and their mission is the flight line. If it's not on the flight line, they don't care.
Okay.
There's a civilian EMS, and their job is if the chews catch on fire, or there's a car accident or something. If there's any base attack, they're civilians. We're not playing. All right. There's an Italian unit. And here's a funny side story with the Italians. The Army issues me a 9mm, but it gives me an M4 cleaning kit. So everybody gets an M4 cleaning kit, but I got a pistol.
Right.
So I got no cleaning kit, but the Italians had a cleaning kit. So I go over to the Italian area. They had a little PX. I heard they sold cleaning kits there. I buy a cleaning kit. On the way back, I see a Red Cross flag and I go, Red Cross, that's medical. Let me go say hi. I'm medical. So I go by to say hi and they're speaking Italian. I'm speaking Spanish.
Okay.
We're communicating. They're a mass cow unit that's designed that if they roll up on a mass cow, they drop the Connex, they pop open the side doors, and in 15 minutes, they have an operating room and full triage.
Wow.
They have their own internal docks, everything else, their own internal supply. They have their own cook. So they make their own meals every day.
Wow.
So they noticed my driver happened to be a lady. And they're like, oh, we have dinner every day. You should come over here for dinner. And you should bring more of your medics. And I go, that's wonderful. Understand, we're Americans.
Yeah.
We can't drink.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not alcohol, it's wine. So I tell my guys, look, the brigade commander was in Baghdad with the generals having beers watching the Super Bowl.
Mm.
All right. Do not be drunk. Do not brag. Do not show up for duty tomorrow ready to go. Don't do anything stupid because my ass is on the line if anything happens.
Yeah.
But we're going to build a relationship. So we went over there multiple times and, had great times. And my guys never got in trouble. I never got in trouble. Life is wonderful. So getting back to the base mass cow plan, I looked at it and I go, well, there's no clear plan on who's responsible for what.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has these missions, but there's no what happens if we get a mortar attack? What happens if we have an insider threat?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody walks in with the grenade into the DFAC. Somebody,
Right.
starts sniping. So I get every medical unit together,
Mm-hmm.
and I go over, and somebody from the mayor's cell, and I'm like, what happens if? Well, and we started drawing on the chalkboard all the different lines. Who's responsible? And I'm like, well, we don't have a base plan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do have 2 maneuver units with combat medics. We got the engineers and you have us. And usually we have somebody back on base. Oh, and we had the 86th, a piece of the 86th Combat Support Hospital out of Fort Campbell on our base.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As a level 3 minus. So they had some surgical capability, whatever. The main body was in Baghdad, but they had a piece here. And their ambulances they're like, hey, they start shooting. We got soft tops. We're not coming out of the ER. We're going to hang here and wait for you to bring us business.
Mm-hmm.
So I get all those guys together and we developed this base plan that basically the mayor's cell, if they have an attack, they're going to call the maneuver units, and whatever medics and vehicles we got, we know how to drive into the fire, take the casualties, care under fire, all that kind of stuff, and bring them back. And that's what we're trained to do. That's what we're here for. So go. And we decided to do an exercise to test it. And the exercise is supposed to be a shooter hits a vehicle that causes an accident.
Okay.
And then as people respond, the active shooter starts hitting people and we get casualties. Well, about 30 minutes before the exercise is supposed to happen, a radio calls that there's an accident. And we think it's the exercise starting early, but there actually was a bus accident with a vehicle. And we're driving up, all armored up and everything, to the checkpoint. And they're like, no, it hasn't started yet. We're like, what? We got a call. So somebody at the mayor's cell heard that there was an accident, thought it was the exercise starting, and called us. And then the Air Force has base security. So they didn't want to let any medics in until they found and killed the sniper.
Okay.
It was like 30 minutes later and the sniper activity started. And it took over an hour for them to neutralize the sniper. And so whoever was hit was bleeding out for an hour. So that's unacceptable. So we had to modify and teach the Air Force security guys that we do care under fire.
Yeah.
Not that we want to be running on the X. We want you to suppress the enemy while we pull them off the X. And that care under fire has become Army doctrine. That's the way we do it now. The first, because historically the number one MOS for Medal of Honor recognition is medics. Unfortunately, most of them are given at the funeral.
Right.
So we don't want to be killing off our medics. So care under fire is now the new concept, what they've probably done informally, but now it's a formal doctrine. Right. And that's how they train. Care under fire, suppress, get them off the axe, hit the life-saving, what you need to do, then get them to safety, and then do all the rest. So what do I got to do in 3 seconds to get you, get that tourniquet on and get you up the X? So
right.
During that tour, I went outside the wire a lot with the brigade command staff and also out to the radio. We also provided site security for the radio relay tower. So we had these little COBs, combat
Okay.
outposts.
Yeah.
And so I'd go out there, and one of them, they were manned by half Brits, half Americans. And Brits
Okay.
get beer rations. So they heard the colonel was coming, and I was a light at that time, and they were all paranoid. I'm like, no, that's NCO business. That's NCO. I'm here to check on soldiers and their health and stuff like that. My PA usually comes out. I'm going out one time, you know. And we did some medical mission stuff like that. But I'm gonna grab a photo.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a photo. So let's see. The smaller kid I'm next to is the older of the two brothers.
Hold on. I'm trying to get you on there. Blown up. It didn't work though. I don't know why. There we go.
Okay, but you can see the two kids.
Yeah.
The smaller one is the older brother.
What? No kidding.
He was born with a bad heart.
Oh, wow.
It's a rare heart condition.
Uh-huh.
And the doctor before me, with the unit before us, was doing a medical mission, and he heard this kid's heart. I think he was an internal medicine doctor, and he said, that doesn't sound right. And he handed the kid to me because he was leaving.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
the base right next to us, Cedar, the convoys would come, and the convoys have civilian drivers, third country national drivers. Okay. And so they don't want to bring them onto the big base, so they bring them to the smaller base to get fuel, to feed, pick up different convoy escorts. Well, so there were soldiers there, and there was a doc there, and she happened to be a pediatrician. And she came onto my base one time because her guys wanted to play softball, and she was in the clinics talking to me, and one of my patrol guys came out, and they were out patrolling, and they met a Bedouin family, and everybody was sick, and they had a baby. They said, we're going to try to come back with the doc, but we don't know. But the baby needs to go to the hospital. Baby looks really sick. So by the time they came, got us, I said, doc, the pediatrician, do you want to go? Yeah, let's go. So I grab her. We go out. We take care of this family. She has a wonderful time, right? Because she's like doing something outside the wire. She's taking care of kids. She's ecstatic.
Yeah.
And so I make friendships with her. And I'm needing some kind of imaging of this kid's heart because I'm trying to figure out, okay, I'm not sure what the kid has, but if I can take an ultrasound machine and just wave it over their chest slowly while somebody has a video camera, then maybe somebody can interpret that and then tell us what the kid has.
Okay.
So I go to the hospital to see if they have an ultrasound machine or something, and I can bring this kid in and get him taken care of. And there happened to be a doc that just showed up like that morning. And he happens to be a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Wow.
He got into a fight up in Baghdad with somebody, and they sent him down here. So I'm like, hey, would you mind seeing this kid? So I bring the kid in. I got a cardiothoracic surgeon and a pediatrician examining this boy. And he needs a major heart surgery, and you're trying to explain it to the dad. And the surgeon basically just tells the dad, he won't be blue anymore. Because his heart, the blood is running backwards. Because of how the thing is. So
I see.
When you breathe, that oxygen fills your blood, and then it runs red around your system. Well, when it mixed with enough blue blood, your venous blood, it looks dark and makes you look bluer or
Hmm.
darker, and you don't grow because you're not getting all the nutrients, you're not getting the oxygen. That's why the kid is smaller.
Wow.
And if he gets tired, he'll squat. He turns blue, he'll squat, he'll get a little better. Because when you squat, it changes pressure. It's really a big medical thing,
Okay.
right? I
Huh.
used to know what all that meant. I just know tetralogy below. And the surgeon is from Texas, and he has a buddy that works at the Children's Hospital who's a pediatric cardiothoracic surgeon.
Okay.
So he contacts him. The guy tells him, I'll do it for free because we're the Texas Guard. So you're taking care of the Texas Guard. The, the, the doctor will do it for free. Then the hospital says, we'll do it for free because, this is the Texas Guard and we're going to support our Texas guys. So all we got to do is
Wow.
get the kid to Texas. And so we do fundraisers, whatever, and they get the kid to Texas.
Uh-huh.
I left by this point, but the story goes, kid gets to Texas,
Uh-huh.
gets the surgery,
Right.
he's recovering. The dad's outside, the kid's in a wheelchair. The dad is walking outside and has to cross the street.
Okay.
And he sees a cop. And you can imagine in his mind what a cop is in Iraq.
Right.
And he's getting nervous, and the cop sees him, motions to him to cross the street, and smiles at his kid. And what that meant to the dad.
Huh.
And then when the kid comes back with the dad, and so I get the stories secondhand from our guys, and after I had left, they come in 4 gun trucks, cordoning off the street.
Mhm.
Then the van comes in with the dad and the kid, and the local sheikh of the town is like, no, you don't need any gun trucks. You don't need any guns. Americans can walk here naked and they'll be safe. Or one of their kids.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
So
that's an incredible story.
Yeah. This is going to be a bunch of stories now. So I come home from Iraq, spend a few months at the job, take my board exam, pass, go on back to Iraq with 2nd of the 116th. My Idaho.
How much time had passed between your first?
I got home in May. We got back on the plane in August.
Oh, so it was the same year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I said my Idaho guys were in Iraq the same time.
So
I'm like, I got to go with my Texas guys because I just with them. And now I'm transferring to Idaho, and Idaho's in Iraq. I got to go with my guys.
Wow. Yeah.
And I get assigned to the line company, 2nd of the 116th, Armored Cav.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the end of the tour. So you've gone through several docs before me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come in the last few months of your rotation and say, hey, you've been doing it wrong for 9 months. Well, I want this done like this. So my job is shut up, sit in the corner, take care of the guys. If they want to get a class, give them a little class, and when we have missions, go outside the wire and live in the gym.
Yeah.
Now getting to Iraq, this second tour, there's a story. So we go to Fort Bliss, and I meet up with some other docs that are all going to the Idaho units. One's going to 3rd Battalion, one's going to the medical company, and I'm going to 2nd Battalion. All right. And we're all going to be on the same base up in Kirkuk.
Okay.
I'm a light colonel. Robert's a light colonel. Charlie's a full bird. Charlie's a pediatrician.
Okay.
He's assigned to 3rd Battalion. He would wear a clown nose and a propeller cap to sick call every day. The soldiers loved him. Charlie Garbarino, great guy, retired. A Brooklyn boy.
Okay.
Practiced in Jersey, retired to the Carolinas. So we are supposed to leave it's like Friday night, dark 30. We get our steak dinner. We get the speeches. We get on the plane. We're sitting on the plane waiting to leave. We've already had our bags turned in, done the duffel bag drag, the dogs take it, and all we have is our carry-ons. After being on the plane for 30 minutes, the pilot says, the plane's broken.
Oh,
We need
God.
to get a part. So we get off the plane, we go back to the barracks, and all you have is your carry-on.
Yeah.
The next night, Saturday night, we go to the gym, we get a hot meal, but not steaks, nobody speeches, no nothing, no fanfare, just get on the plane at dark 30, fly out. They fly us to Reagan.
Okay.
All right. We land at Reagan. It's 4 a.m. They said, hey, we're going to take off at like 7:30, but nothing is open in the airport. If you want anything open, you have to go back out security, and maybe there might be something out in the ticketing area, but then you got to wait till security opens at 6:30 to get back through and get back on the plane.
Oh, man.
So I don't want to sit on the plane, so I just hang out in the gate area. And then we get back on the plane and we fly to Germany. We land in Germany. We get off the plane. We go to a hangar. There's some USO ladies with cookies and calling cards.
Okay.
Very nice. We are there half an hour. We go to get on the plane, and the pilot comes in. We've lost our flight window into Kuwait.
Oh,
now we got to sleep in the hangar, and all I got is my carry-on.
Oh, geez.
So we get on the plane the next day. We fly into Kuwait. We get all our bags. We get on the bus. We got to wait for security. They take us to another base. And then they say, this is the wrong base. So we got to wait for security. They take us to another base. They drop off the civilian contractors. Then they wait for security. And they take us back to the first base we went to. Because now we got to get issued more equipment, our Rapid Field Initiative. So more crap to carry. Another duffel bag full of crap. And I'm like, I know how to play Army. I don't need any of this stuff you're issuing. Please don't issue me anything. And I talked them out of issuing me another duffel bag full of crap. We get back on the bus. We go back to another base, and now we're going to fly out to Kuwait, and we missed our flight by half an hour. So we got to get barracks, and they say, okay, the flight updates at 2 a.m, and it'll tell you what flights are going out that day and what is the show time. So I tell the guys, I'm gonna take the first night, and I'll go at 2 a.m. and check it out. Well, I go at 2 a.m, and I'm sitting, and I meet a guy who's with the Idaho Guard, an E4. He went home on emergency leave because his father-in-law passed away. At that time, it was not recent that my ex's father had passed away, so I had the father-in-law passing away thing. And he's in my unit. That I'm joining. So he's trying to get to Kirkuk also. And there's no flight coming in that next day. So it's like, okay. So I go and tell Charlie and stuff, hey, there's no flights today. We just got to play the same game the next day. And he's like, no, this is not right. There are docs trying to get home. We just need to get up there as fast as we can. You know, I'm going to schmooze him and get us up there. All right, Charlie. Well, he pulls his Colonel Doctor card and gets us a flight to Baghdad. And I'm telling you, if we take this E4, he's going to the same unit. No. We can't put him on the plane because, you know, he's whatchamacallit. He's just an E4. We're making this special arrangements for you guys. So we take the flight to Baghdad. And then they put us in this little room, a 10 by 10 for 3 guys with a fan. And I'm like, fine, let's just settle in and relax. He's like, no. We're supposed to be in distinguished quarters because I'm a colonel, whatever. So they move us to this tent that's hotter.
Oh, no.
They have more space, but it's hot. I'm like, oh, come on, Charlie. Then the next day we catch a helicopter ride to, I can't remember the name of the base.
Okay.
There was a dentist there that made waffles in the morning, so we had waffles the next morning. Then we
Nice.
catch a helicopter ride from there, and we finally get to Kirkuk, and we arrive in dark 30. They pick us up. They finally drop me at my battalion headquarters. As I'm walking in with all my bags, there's that E4 that we left 3 days ago. Like
No.
the next day, there was a direct flight.
Now that's funny.
So not a lot on that tour, but I bonded with a lot of people and stuff. And I really liked that battalion. And I ended up retiring out of that battalion in 23. Then, so I go back to work, 2007. So it's about 2 years. I don't want them to call me. I call them. And I'm like, if I call you, then I get to pick who I go with, where I go, and when I go. So I'm looking for something in the summer of 2007 because the kids aren't in school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier on my ex. And I get a New York unit, and they're going to Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined them. And they are the base TMC, but they're combined it with the hospital. And so I get put in charge of the outpatient care. So I'm the senior doc for the TMC for no reason whatsoever. And during that tour, this is a funny story. They bring in this Egyptian third country national.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
They stopped at that Cedar base just outside of Toledo, and he couldn't walk. And it looked like he had a stroke.
Oh, dang.
So they brought him to the ER. I happened to be on duty. And I can't remember why. But you know how like when you can have angina, chest pain, but it's not a heart attack, and you can have a heart attack and they feel the same?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the same can happen with your brain. You can have a TIA, transient ischemic attack, or you could have a stroke. They look the same, but you realize one is not a real heart attack, one is not a real stroke yet. You could have a heart attack tomorrow, you could have a stroke tomorrow.
Okay.
So I realize he's having a TIA. Now, if you go to these foreign countries, Egypt, wherever, these guys are chain smokers.
Yeah.
And I told him he's having this stroke because he's smoking. And if he smokes another cigarette, he'll never walk again. If you stop right now, you will walk again. Knowing that he's going to walk again in 2 days anyway.
Yeah.
I tell him that. And 2 days later, he's walking. He's got his cane. Look, Doc, look, I can walk. No more smoking.
Nice.
One way to get a guy to quit.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good way to get them to quit. Yeah.
So a couple of years go by. That was the big story, 2007. Now, 2009, I set up my tour. I'm going to Afghanistan.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to Kabul to Camp Phoenix. And I'm joining a TMC, the base TMC. I arrive. They tell me, you're the senior doc, you're in charge. And I'm like, why? The next day, a full bird colonel shows up, and I'm like, he can be in charge. They're like, no, we already said you're in charge. But he outranks me. No, you're still in charge. There was a change in mission as I was arriving. The Afghans had their elections. The mission changed. And so I had 9 docs, 9 providers, docs and PAs. A clinic that at the most 3 could work simultaneously.
Okay.
So I put 3 on in the morning, 3 on in the afternoon, 3 off, and then every day it rotated. So you work 2 half days and a day off.
Okay.
But everybody seemed to hang around the clinic anyway, and we all talked and shared stuff. So there were bases all around us, all around Kabul, and they were little aid stations. So if they needed blood work or they needed x-rays or anything else, they would send them our way.
Okay.
Sometimes the soldiers would tell us, hey, I got sent from Camp Eggers. Here's my paperwork. And we would do what the paperwork said and then send them back. Sometimes they would say, I just have a bad cough. And then we would sign them in and do the full workup. And then they'd go back. And, you know, we don't know where they came from. We just know, hey, you came in, you're sick, we're taking care of you.
Yeah.
You're injured, we're taking care of you. So there was this E4 x-ray tech who was proud of how epically stupid he could be.
Okay.
And one day he is messing around with the x-ray machine on night call, he and his buddy, and they take pictures of their hands. So they put their hands in front with a specific finger hanging out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. I don't know if I can do it on this thing, but you can. Okay. They stuck out their fingers.
Yeah.
And they took an x-ray of it. And they burnt it onto a CD, but they didn't label it or take it away. They just chucked it in a pile.
Oh, no.
The next day, a kid from Eggers shows up. He's got a bronchitis. The doc says, hey, I need a chest x-ray. He gets sent over to x-ray. The x-ray tech on duty takes the chest x-ray, pops in a disc, burns the chest x-ray onto the disc, and sends it with the kid. Except these are, you can only write on them once. So the finger image was on that disc, not the chest x-ray. And it gets back to Eggers, and the doc at Eggers, Colonel Carnes, opens it up expecting to see the chest x-ray of his kid, and instead he sees the x-ray of these fingers.
Oh, my God.
So he calls up, and he's like, I want to speak to the senior doc over there, or the doc in charge. And they say, hand me the phone. I'm like, how may I help you? And he goes, do you hate us? And I'm like, I don't hate anybody. What's up? And he tells me what happened with this section. I'm like, I'm sorry. Hold the phone. I go, I have the tech, pull up the image. I look at the image. I say, yes, pneumonia. I come back to the phone. Your soldier has pneumonia. You were correct. Whatever. I apologize. I will find out who did it. I'll get back to you. And as soon as I'm saying that, my NCOIC hears me and he goes, is that Eggers? I go, yeah, I've already talked to their NCOIC. I already know who did it. I'm like, okay, NCO business. Hey, by the way, I happen to be a sports medicine doc. I would love to come to your base and take care of every single soldier you have in pain. I'll arrive on a Tuesday. I'll see everybody on Wednesday, and I'll come home on Thursday, and I'll teach your medicine. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. So I start taking the shuttle Twinkie bus. I don't know if you've ever seen these. It's an up-armored bus. Looks like a Twinkie.
Okay. Yeah.
And it does routes, and it goes to different bases. And I started going to all the different bases, like once a week or whatever, to different bases to do. And I would just show up and say, hey, I want to see everybody you have in pain. I'm coming in tomorrow. Line them up. I'll see everybody you got. And I started doing that at all these bases. So I made friends with all these base docs and stuff. And, you know, that Colonel Carnes, you know, he's like, first time he meets me, do you ride motorcycles? I'm like, yeah, how can you tell? He goes, the mark on your boot, you know, for shifting up.
Yeah.
So
nice.
He and I bonded. He was a motorcycle rider. I was looking at buying my first Harley. So, you know, we bonded on that too. Yeah. So some great friendships came out of these tours. Well, one of the base was Black Horse, and Black Horse was an A&A training base. So they had all this ammo and all of these ranges. So I would go there on Tuesday, see everybody on Wednesday, stay for Thursday. They would take me to the range and let me shoot whatever. And then Thursday I would come home. So I'd shoot a Mark 19 grenade launcher. I'd shoot the I can't remember which machine gun.
240 probably.
I shot an AT-4, threw grenades. I brought my PA with me one time, this Air Force kid. So the Air Force kids are never going to play with these toys. Oh, you're frozen on me. There you are. This Air Force kid would never play with these toys, Lieutenant Johnson. And so he got to shoot all this Army stuff too. And we just had a blast, literally, doing all this stuff. So that was a really cool tour. And then, on there, and just before I left for that tour, I was on the promotion list for 06.
Okay.
All right. And it came out, the list came out, and I got selected for promotion. Now, the state has to do a board to promote me. And the good news about doctors, whoever decided way back when, if you want to go just like NCOs, if you want to advance in rank, you have your military school. So you have your basic course, your advanced course, what used to be called Command and General Staff College, and I can't remember what they call it now. Then you have the War College and stuff like that. Well, doctors decided, we are doctors. We don't care about your schoolhouses. We'll go to the basic course, and that's it.
Right.
So we don't need any of those schools to get promoted. Every other officer in all the other branches decided they needed the schoolhouse, but we did. So I don't need any school. I went to the advanced course, right? But I didn't want to be a commander. I just like being a staff pukey and a senior doc and a worker bee. In fact, I got tired of being senior doc. I just wanted to be a worker bee. They kept making me senior doc everywhere I went. So I was waiting for my actual promotion to publish. And every time I called, there was another hiccup. Oh, we need your last officer evaluation. Well, I gave it to my battalion commander before I left. I'll send it to him again, all my support forms. Oh, we need a copy of medical license. So I called my clinic and had them send over a copy of my license. And I had been there for like a month and a half, 2 months, and it's August. And I'm like, man, I just live in the gym. There's nothing better to do but live in the gym.
Yeah.
So I live in the gym every day. And I decided I'm going to take a PT test because I'm in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm living in the gym indoors on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go outside and run around the LZ.
Yeah.
LZ is a half mile per lap. Now, I don't have a problem going back and forth. In fact, it's harder to learn to run on the treadmill than it is to run outside. But, it's no big deal to go from the treadmill back outside. So I do my push-ups, sit-ups, and I'm going to run around the track. Now, at this point, I'm 45 years old. I can run at 45 years old an 11 to 12 minute 2 mile.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. I'm still in that kind of shape.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I do the first lap and I'm under 3 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, it's a little too fast, but you're okay. But my throat starts burning.
Yeah.
I come around the mile mark and it's 6 minutes. And I'm like, okay, you're doing well. But now my throat's on fire and my legs are burning.
Oh, no.
I come through the 1.5 miles at 10 minutes. So I just went sub 3, little over 3, 4 minutes. Now my legs are on fire. I can't breathe.
Oh no.
And I got one lap to go.
Yeah.
And all I'm thinking to myself is, this is row 6. This is row 6. Don't walk. Don't. This is row 6. I finished in 16 minutes. 19
Wow.
minutes is failing.
Okay.
So my last half mile was 6 minutes. My first mile was 6 minutes. My last half mile was 6 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
And so I had full-blown pneumonia. In those 15 minutes, I got pneumonia.
No kidding. Holy cow.
So I'm in the clinic. They treat me. I get better. I come home, put in my claim. And boy, is it a pain in the ass to deal with the VA.
Yeah. So, sometimes it is for sure.
Yeah. So I come home and then I take a mission with the Warrior Transition Unit out of Utah.
Okay.
So wounded warriors coming home, I'm overseeing their care. So the idea is if you're active duty, you go back to your base. But if you're Guard and Reserves, do you want to be stuck at Fort Bliss or Fort Leonard Wood getting your care when you live in Boise?
Right. Yeah.
Separated getting your care. And that's a burden on those bases. So they developed a program where they in-process through my team. And then they go home to Boise on TRICARE with full pay and benefits of active duty. They're still on active duty.
No kidding.
The job is to go to your medical appointments, get your care, get better. When you're not at doctor's appointments, you have to do something for the military. So show up to your old unit, answer phones, whatever, or work for a federal agency, but the Army's paying you, so you're free slave labor, or go to a brick and mortar school and get a degree. Because it's a warrior transition unit to transition you. So suppose you can't go back to the military and you need a new career field. So you transition. I remember one guy, he went to the Corps of Engineers and worked for them for free. He worked in, hey, the Army's paying me. I'm free slave labor. What can I do to help you?
Yeah.
And they took him on. And then 6-8 months later, he's like, well, now my time is done with the Army. You know, they're medically boarding me out or whatever. And I need a civilian job. And they're like, you're hired.
Wow. That's awesome.
So, so good things. And then I go back in 2011, back to Afghanistan, to Eggers, to a little aid station. And I'm trying to work out, and I just can't get a workout in. I can do weightlifting, but I can't run.
Right.
And when I was in Salt Lake, I could run. I found that like when I was doing the PT test, the first mile was great. The second mile, I started wheezing a little bit and was slower than what I should be. Now I'm back in Afghanistan and I can't work out. I try every day. I tried and I just cough and wheeze and whatever. I try some inhalers and stuff, and that's not working. I just don't have energy. I come home, I see the allergist, they test me. I don't have any allergies. I don't have regular asthma, but I had this exercise-induced asthma now. And they got me on meds, and suddenly I could run again, and life was good.
Okay.
But over the years, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. So now I struggle to run now. And they finally got me my 100% P&T because I just can't. I can walk, I can rock, I can do a lot of things, but I just can't run and I can't do stairs. I struggle with running and I struggle with stairs. It's the weirdest asthma. If you test me, my baseline looks super normal. You check my heart, it's super normal, but it's a weird.
Once you start running, it gets inflamed or something.
Right away. And I get coughing fits and the mucus comes up.
Wow.
So and now I'm still in the service, and um, doing well. I finally get transferred to, because I was with the medical company, and the guy was in the battalion, 2nd Battalion, maneuver battalion. But I'm waiting for him to retire so I can take his job, because I'm stuck in a medical company, doing the same job I've been doing for decades now.
Right.
And we do great. We're phenomenal. But it's like, I need to stop being the guy in charge. I need the guys behind me to step up and develop their skill sets.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
I need to get down to battalion where the fun is. I want to retire out of battalion. I finally get there, and then I deploy to Iraq in 19. And I end up in was it? It's losing me the name of the base. It's
okay.
Baghdad, this base, Syria. So all the ops guys doing fighting in Syria, if they get injured, they come to us.
Okay.
And then we stabilize, and then we do damage control surgery, and then they go on to Baghdad. Where
was it
minutes.
Was it an air base or?
It was a big air base, but
Al-Assad?
We had a little Al-Assad.
Okay.
And then we had our little base clinic with the addition of a surgical team.
Okay.
So we first had a Navy, then an Army, then an Air Force surgical team. So they rotated. And I decided to do this tour for 6 months rather than 3 months. So it was a lot of fun on that base. It was great working with the surgical teams and stuff, and the training and stuff. Trying to think if there's any. So I'm bored. So I don't know why I picked up doing puzzles.
Okay.
So I started doing puzzles. So I take these puzzles, and we have our 2 facing rows of chews. And in the center is a little cement bunker if there's any incoming, and some park benches. So I'd be outside on the park bench doing a puzzle. And I'd be out there every day. So I either in the gym or at the park bench doing puzzles. And the guy across from me is an Estonian.
Okay.
And he sees me there, and we start talking, and he's helping me with the puzzles. And then he tells me about Man Love Thursday. So the Estonians and Latvians and those guys are a sauna culture.
Okay.
So they have a little spot in a corner where they have a Connex, and they built a sauna inside the Connex. And every Thursday they would hang out. They got a little fridge there with the near beers, and they have a park bench, and they just hang out, and you'd eat, whatever snacks and near beer, and then you would go in the sauna for 5-10 minutes, come back out, rinse off, hang out, and just BS. And so they invited me to Man Love Thursday. And so I'd hang out with them every Thursday, and became good friends with them. And they were trying to build a pool. Those massive water containers on the base? They had one cut in half, and that was the pool. And they built this big wooden platform around. They had gotten the tubing and the pump to circulate the water. I got them chemicals, but they needed water. And they needed 17,000 gallons of water.
Oh, geez.
And there are only 6 guys in their group. So their countries pay the Americans to provide them food, water, housing, whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can't justify giving them 17,000 gallons of water. But I was trying to find a way to get them some water. But yeah, these guys are awesome. And then one of the guys, Levio Lotz, the guy, the Estonian guy, he gave me this. Let me just show you. They have a Ranger battalion, the Cooper Jonoff battalion.
Okay.
And it was a World War I era battalion. A guy was a school teacher. He When the war started, he was part of the underground fighting. And finally, they made him a battalion, and he was highly disciplined. And within a month, he kicked Russia out of Estonia.
Oh, wow.
And a month later, he got killed in action. And they named a Ranger battalion equivalent after him, the Kupojanov battalion.
Okay.
And so you have to, you know, earn the right. And when you get it, you get this, you know, you get the skull crossbones.
Yeah.
He gave it to me.
That's cool.
And, you know, so the other patches, or the other pins were from the different units I went to combat with. And then, what you call it? And then I did the Qatar tour, but the Qatar tour was screwed up because it was during COVID. So instead of getting my 2 beers a day and going to the water park and scuba dive and safariing, nothing happened. And then my last tour was with my unit, got all screwed up, and I didn't deploy on my last one. And then I retired. But one of the things I wanted to do before I retired was earn my EFMB.
Okay.
And I got on my 3rd try. My first try, I was in my 20s, and I screwed up CPR, even though I was a CPR instructor. You make one mistake and you're out. And the second time was 2012, before my asthma was controlled. I got to the road march, and I ran out of air and leg power at the 11.9 mile mark of a 12-mile ruck march.
Oh, geez.
And I didn't make it. And then at age 51, I went to Fort Carson, Colorado, and finally earned my EFMB.
Nice.
I did the 12-mile ruck march in 2 hours and 47 minutes, and I wasn't the last one to finish. There was 193 of us that started, 18 finished, and I was number 16 to cross the line. That's how hard this badge is.
Wow.
So if you ever look up EFMB, Expert Field Medical Badge, you know, it's one of the hardest badges. It's like 10% is a typical pass rate. It's a week of train up where they show you exactly how they want it, and then a week of testing. So a thing might be you need to clear your 9mm pistol. So hold the pistol in your right hand with your index pointing finger up. If you hold it with your left hand, you failed. If your index finger is not on it, you failed. So it's nitnoy details, but it is a soldier skill test. You know, they do soldier skills, NBC, communication skills with the radio. They do
they do everything. That's awesome.
They do infantry skills, and they do medical skills. And so, and you load people in, you know, the regular ambulance, the armored ambulance, and non-standard, like in the back of a Hummer or the back of a LMTV. And then you do land nav. And you have to get 4 out of 4 points during the day in 3 hours, and 3 out of 4 points during the night in 4 hours.
Wow.
And I got lost on night land nav, and it proved to me that God exists. So if I have a minute to tell this story, the starting line is along a dirt trail. Every 100 meters is a starting point, and you start, and you're going to come back to one of them. So I plotted, and I'm like, well, my end point is over there, 300 meters. And if I'm at S point 1, that must be starting point 4, SP4. So I already have my last point. Now I just need 2 more. Straight ahead to my left, slightly to my left, is a cliff. And you cannot use white light. And you can only use red light for 3 seconds or so to look at your map or look in your immediate vicinity. If you use it longer than that, you're out. If you use white light, you're out. You have to walk in the darkness.
Wow.
And they always schedule this during a full moon time.
Okay.
Now, if it so happens that there's clouds that night, screw you.
Yeah.
You know,
They tried.
they scheduled it, you know, during a full moon.
Yeah.
So day land nav, I have 4 out of 4. No big deal. Knock it out. Night land nav, and I've never had problems on land nav.
Mm-hmm.
My right in front of the cliff is a stream. Now I don't want to walk off the cliff, but right by the stream U-turns, there's my point. So I just figured I'm going to walk to the right. I'm just going to walk until I hit stream. And then I'm going to turn left, follow the stream to the cliff, find my point, and go from there.
Okay.
So I'm walking straight ahead in the dark, and I don't find a stream. And I know I've gone too far. So I walk back. And now I know I come back, and I'm like, I passed it again. So I walk forward again. And I keep going. Now the stream is like a fork. So you've got the stream down here. You got one fork, cliff over here, far fork, you know, out of bounds, you know, wall over here. And in the middle, there's some flatlands and some cliffy areas.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to walk to the stream and then go up to the cliff and get the U-turn point. And the second point is here. And the third point is not too far from it. And my fourth point is back by the starting line. Mm-hmm. So I'm going like this, back and forth, back and forth. I can't figure it out. But I know that if I go to this Y, I can follow the stream back.
Yeah.
So I decide to go all the way over here, go all the way down to the Y. I've been there before. I know it. I know where the Y is. Now I calculate I got to walk 1.5 miles back to here.
Okay.
But I'm so pissed at how much time I've wasted. I'm just walking up and I'm just not counting. I'm not paying attention. I go, damn, I might have walked past it and I don't know. So I walk back down to the Y, and I only had walked half a mile or so. Now I'm walking up again. I count my paces. I get my 1.5 miles. I find the point. And then the second point is over here, but I have to go up a little rise. You know, it's almost like a little cliff face about 7 feet high. And so rather than try to go straight line azimuth, I go, okay, on my map, if I go down to this point and then go up, it'll be straight ahead. Mm-hmm. So I figure out how far to go down. I climb up, I go up, I start walking straight ahead, and I'm like, okay, it should be right here. And I'm in this big open grassy area. To my left is trees, a dense bunch of trees. And just then, the moon started rising.
Oh, okay.
So suddenly I had light, and I looked to my left, and I could see the post right there with the marker on it.
Wow.
And had I been there an hour earlier, I wouldn't have seen it in the trees.
Wow.
So God got me lost for an hour so I could find that point.
Yeah.
And then the other point was nearby, but I was like, screw it, I'm running out of time. I'm going to write that point for both spots. I know I have my start. I know I have my second point. I know I have my last point. So I just need one of the two in the middle. And this has got to be one of the two. So I'm writing it for both. Got back. I passed it. So I was happy.
That's really cool. Man.
And then I got my ruck march and finished and got my EFMB. And then when they were pinning everybody, the general walked by and took a double take at the old guy. But yeah, that's
awesome.
My career.
Yeah, man, what a heck of a career too, though. Oh man, I've enjoyed hearing your story. Thanks for coming on and doing it.
Well, you're welcome. I want everybody to see my duffel behind me. I squirted it yesterday. So come on. So this is from basic training. And then I use it in OCS. I have to paint my name on it. And one line is like all my units, and then all my slice units, and then all the other units, international units that I made friends with and everything.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It was a fun career, lots of friends, lots of good times, even more stories. But at some point,
Yeah, well, we've all got stories that could probably go on for days and days.
yeah. But
Yeah.
if you can share this with the junior officers, your boss will remember one of three things. You're an asshole. I don't like you, and I remember why.
Yeah.
You're a good guy. I like you. You did a good job. And that's all. Or you're my superstar. I can always rely on you, but I can't remember why. So I would tell my junior guys, a lot of mentorship, every time you do something, write a bullet point, write it in your thing and put it in your OER or NCOER. So you're reminding your boss why.
Yeah.
Your future promotions are based on your evaluations. And I've sat in on boards. I've actually promoted a lot of people. I've sat in at Fort Knox on multiple boards and stuff like that, in other states, career development boards and stuff. So I've read all these OERs, and I know now what I didn't know when I was a young lieutenant writing super soldier.
Yeah.
What we're looking at, how we're making decisions, and what kind of things help us when we see great soldier because he did this and this and this. I can know that, very specific why you're a great soldier over the next guy.
Yeah. So, that's good info. Yeah.
Always have all your successes, like you're writing your own award, and then you're giving that to your boss to make your boss's job easier. So
absolutely awesome. Well,
embrace the suck, mentorship, and always smile. It's a wonderful life.
Oh, very true. You gotta have fun. That's what I always used to tell people is you gotta have fun. And if you're not having fun, you're in the wrong business. So, all right, I'm going to do these rapid fire questions if you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready for rapid fire.
All right. What is your proudest military moment?
Has to be the EFMB, crossing that line at age 51 and finally get it. I didn't want to retire until I earned that. I earned that.
Yeah, especially at 51. All right. What is your most embarrassing military moment?
Ooh. I mean, I just laugh at myself so much. I'm not sure I've ever been embarrassed. That's a tough one. I just laugh at myself when I screw up or stuff happens. I don't.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Here we go. If you could be one military leader for a day, who would that be?
You would not know, but I mentioned him, Colonel Bill Martinez. He was the kind of infantry commander that drove around the training area and everything and wanted to talk to privates and specialists. That's how he got his info. Yeah. And he would think of everything from the private and the specialist perspective. What are we doing? He taught me that concept of higher supports lower. Our job is to help my job, battalion A stations do better. Get them resources, be a supportive leader, it's not about me because I have a rank. It's about what I can do for you. Yeah. Now that I have rank, how can I use that? So, Colonel Martinez was an amazing brigade commander in my experience. I personally knew him and stuff and his family. So, yeah, I had to, I would want to, I'm hoping I was like that in my career, what I learned from him.
Very nice. All right. What is one lesson or skill you learned that you still use today?
Hey, adopt a plan B.
Ooh,
No plan ever survives first contact.
That's very true.
So adopt a plan B.
Yeah. Man, that's so smart. All right. In the zombie apocalypse, what would be your weapon of choice and what anthem would be playing?
Well, you got to do the Valkyrie from Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
You know, since it's all headshots, you need to have something with a scope you can do at distance with an accurate scope. So a rifle with an accurate scope at distance, sit on my roof and peg people and clear my street.
Yeah.
It's not a close quarter. You don't want to be in a close quarter combat with the zombies. You want to be able to take them out at a distance. And ideally, they have no idea where the shot came from. So the next guy's just standing there waiting for his bullet too.
I love it. All right. What animal best describes your time in service?
It would have to be a bulldog, because when I felt like something I needed to fix, I dug my teeth in and it didn't matter. I was fighting to fix something that I thought was wrong. Yeah. So I guess I'm like you guys. I'm a bulldog.
I like it. That's awesome. All right. Knowing what you know now, would you do it all over again?
Oh, hell yes.
Very nice.
Oh, yes. I would start again today. My nephew joins, my stepson joined, my other nephew joined, in the last couple of years. So yeah, I would tell them, yeah, it's a great service. It's a great thing to do. My grandson is, all excited about Army and stuff. He's 10 years old. I'm awesome. Army grandpa.
Yeah.
I think there's such a big benefit, and you can get in trouble the same way in any career. The only thing is it's, usually just on your CV and not on some official government record.
Yeah.
But, the life experiences, I would definitely do it again. The people I've met.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love it. All right. Now, you did give some words of wisdom, but I always give time for words of wisdom or anything you want to leave the listeners with.
Besides, I already said about, adapt to plan B, but it is look for mentors and be a mentor. All right. What good is all that knowledge I have if I wasn't sharing that down to my PAs and junior doctors? And that's why I said at one point I needed to get out of the way so the other guy could flex his muscle and spread his wings and develop. He's not going to develop if I'm always the senior guy making the decisions.
Very true. Yeah.
I need to mentor people and watch them fly. And I've had the privilege of promoting a couple of officers that I know and be able to say, yes, I was on the board that made you a colonel.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, shoot, Robin, I had a great time. Hopefully you enjoyed your time. And hopefully you enjoyed watching part one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, part one, I would say, is development of my philosophies and my mission. And then part two is the fun times, just living it.
Yeah, exactly. No, hey, I've enjoyed it the whole time. We'll have to have you back on again sometime.
And I'll be in New York for Carlos's granddaughter's quinceañera in June. If you're in New York, let's share a beer, let's share a drink.
I will probably not be in New York.
Oh man,
I don't get out and travel too much, especially to the cities. They kind of freak me out. I'm not a city person. So
okay, what state are you in?
I'm in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oh, my stepson, he's a combat medic, and he did his basic training at Fort Sill and graduated in February. That is a cold place.
Yeah, it goes from really cold to stupid hot in the summer. So,
the wind just bites,
and there's nothing to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
absolutely.
No wonder tornadoes love your state. Yeah.
They do. They do love the state. Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
understatement.
Ah,
All right. Well, hey, thanks again for doing this. Much appreciated. Like last time, stay on once the credits roll at the end, and I'll talk to you after. But all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255 or go to veteranscrisisline.net, click on that chat icon. Remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. I know Robin cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you, so please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right. One last time, thank you very much. It was a fantastic story. Learned lots, and I'm sure everybody else is going to learn a lot. But thank you very much. To all the listeners, stay motivated. Change your socks.
well,
No more 22. Honor the journey and finish the fight.